Okay, we're live.
Nice.
I wish I had a physical book cover right now, Rob, so that I can
I know.
show it off to everybody instead of just the image. But
We'll show the image. They'll have to think about it, imagine it in their head.
yes,
That's, kind of what we do with keywords anyway.
true enough.
So, you want me to share this link to everybody who wants to join the live event?
Absolutely,
All right.
absolutely.
Let's see here. Huh. Hope that's the link.
It's the one I just put into your chat box.
The one I shared with Michael.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Kinds of. Alrighty, we'll see how many people join us.
Yeah.
Will you know?
Well, I just put it up on the Publish and Profit site. So um, let's see what happens.
All right, let me put this on. I'll share the link on LinkedIn. Nice background noise. Is that you jamming?
No, that's not me.
Hmm. We have another person on the call?
Yes,
We
you
do. We
do.
got Michael on the line.
Awesome.
Hi, guys.
How are you?
Hey, Michael.
If I was any better, I'd be twins. And you two?
Well, my size, if I was half of me, I'd be twins.
Yeah. So it's glad that you could join us.
Oh,
Glad that
no
you could read the
worries.
book.
Absolutely. It's up on my other screen, as a matter of fact.
So we'll make sure you get a hard copy
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
because you're helping us and we appreciate that.
Oh, that's easy. That's the easy part.
We're bringing sexy back to SEO.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Was it ever there to begin with?
So, Michael, tell Paul a little bit about what you do.
Sure. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have a 21-year and counting home-based business that sells technology products. to large corporate clients, both domestically in the U.S. and internationally. I also am publishing 2 new digital magazines on a platform developed in-house. I'm an investor in the company, an angel investor, and I just was on the phone with my partner, which is one of the reasons I'm a few minutes late. We have a agreement in principle for Discover Card to share all of our magazines, all of their customers. Our magazines are all free publications that are ad subsidized, and we have 21 current titles, and we literally just in the process of launching the platform. We've spent 2 years working on it, and the car, as we say, the car is at the starting line now. So we're trying to decide if we're going to bolt some turbochargers and hook up the nitrous. So it's an exciting opportunity, particularly in light of a large investment that was just made in Vox, and their market valuation now is about $400 million for something very similar to what we've developed in-house. So we're talking about going out and trying to raise some money, looking for some potential strategic investors in the interim, and just trying to figure out, what we have targeted 100 different titles over the next 3 years, and I believe that we'll hit that in 18 months. So.
Sweet.
So we're doing this. We had planned on this launch today, and we didn't know that our Kindle book would smash records and go to #1 2 days after launch.
Yeah, that wasn't a bad deal. Congrats.
No, it surprised the heck out of me, and I was I think it was close to midnight Saturday, and I was about half dead tired. And I looked at Amazon, and it's displaying the Orange Ribbon #1 bestseller. I'm like, am I looking at my book? What's going on? My wife goes, yeah, that's your book. And I'm like, yay! And I screamed, and all the kids woke up, and they're like, Dad, you're stupid.
Isn't it amazing how stupid we get when we have kids?
Especially when the kids are 25. And
yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Soon though they'll figure out that you're not as stupid as they think you are. So that's the good news. It does eventually circle back around.
No, so it's this book has been a journey. It's been something that I've wanted to write for about a year now, and I came at it at a kind of a different direction, but combining with Paul's thoughts, we have I think a better product, because there were some elements that I didn't know, and there were some elements that he didn't know, and coming together, we brought together I think a book that's easier to read and follow.
Absolutely. I mean, it's clear and concise, as I said, and my review was factual. I mean, I don't blow smoke up anybody's ass, because there's no need to. It was clear and concise and easy to read. I mean, the only, and I shared this with you, Rob, the only issue that I had was not knowing exactly who was always speaking.
We don't always know who's speaking.
Well, yeah, it was a little schizophrenic, but not much,
Yeah.
Well, hey, that means that tells me that we're probably going to be attracted to schizophrenic readers. So.
No, I don't think so.
Yesterday, Paul and I were shaking our heads because in the profile of our book, it said that we are number 53 in bestsellers in the teen and young adult category, and I'm like,
really?
Where'd that come from?
Yeah, no kidding. That's interesting.
I mean, what teenager just wants to read an SEO book for fun?
Says a lot about that teenager.
Yeah, I was going to say it's he'll probably be a millionaire by the time he's 25.
Yeah, he just
you dropped out there, Rob, or Chris.
Mike,
Yes.
I think we're kind of all of us kind of fade in and out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can hear
But
both of you fine.
it did restore my faith in some millennials, anyways.
Yeah.
So, but
Did you get your
it's been a fun ride.
Yeah? Did you get your internet solved yesterday, Paul?
I'm probably. I didn't have run a speed test yet this morning, but I'm willing to bet that I'm the only one connected online here and probably on my street. Everybody else is at work. I probably have decent speeds.
Yeah. Well, Michael, you're in Texas. I'm in Pennsylvania. Paul's in Winnipeg, and I know that there's others that want to join this call.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they come on board, and because I think Owen, if he gets on here, will really give us some insight. I was interviewed by him last week, and he's more of a YouTuber,
Mm-hmm.
video guy, and so I know that he's excited about what we're doing. Huh. So, what are your questions, Michael? I mean, what I know with all your digital stuff coming out, how do you see that being marketed on the internet?
Well, clearly, since they're all digital products, that's going to be, and you and I have had some preliminary conversations, and I think I shared with you that I talked to my partner, and he's interested in furthering those conversations regarding doing some horse trading. So, I mean, obviously, our primary concern is being found. Subscribership is key since they're all free publications and ad subsidized. So without readers, it doesn't do us any good to have the best content in the world,
Right.
if you don't have a subscriber base. So SEO will be an important part of that. We have separate websites for all 21 of the current issues. So those are going to need some work. Every one of our magazine titles, our business model is to have celebrity partners, and I'm the only non-celebrity to speak of because I'm an investor. So I'm a celebrity in training, I guess. We'll see how that all plays out. But
celebrity in training.
But we've got Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank. We've got Christy Franks from The Apprentice. Rolanda Watts, who is an actress and a voiceover person, is doing a celebrity crowdfunding publication. Eric Yaverbaum. Quite a few people from Lee Steinberg, Jerry Maguire fame, and I mean, there's more. They're just Dr. William Teller, Science and Spirit, which is kind of what a lot of people would refer to as a woo-woo magazine, and it's becoming more mainstream with each passing day. But I mean, for the average person, they think that a lot of the quantum physics and that whole space is woo-woo to the average person at this point. But that's changing. So
yeah, more and more people, I think, are going to the internet not only for their entertainment but for their education.
Absolutely.
Very few people are getting physical print magazines, and they're not getting newspapers, and
everything. All print stuff is static.
Yeah.
The great thing about digital is we can go in on the fly and make changes or updates to our digital magazines in between publications.
Right.
So we have the ability to have live video within our publications. So we could do book launches, press releases, breaking news, interviews, whatever we want. And I mean, it's text, graphics, audio, video, live video. So it's a pretty compelling platform. and it's an exciting opportunity. Now it's incumbent on us to make it happen. So
Yeah.
you can't spend opportunity.
My local newspaper developed an app 2 years ago, so I stopped getting the daily paper.
Yep.
And they would call me every now and then, hey, do you want to resubscribe to our paper? I said, why? I have your app. And they're like, oh. And now they want to start charging for the app, but nobody wants to pay for the app.
Well, they're all trying to, install firewalls or paywalls, and they no longer have. I mean, the sad thing is they no longer have a control on the news.
No.
The network television and the traditional print media no longer have a monopoly on providing information. And, they have been slow to adopt. Print magazines derive 80% of their ad revenue from their print publications, so they've been reluctant, as you and I shared, Rob, they've been reluctant to invest heavily in digital, and, the wave is about to literally go over them, and it's going to be too late by the time they it's just one of those things. It's kind of things are changing, and they're changing quickly. So
and then that's the problem. Everything is coming onto the internet, but people don't know how to find it.
Well, that's exactly, and there's always going to be a need for people who can provide you with timely, relevant, contextual-based information.
And and in our book we talk about syndication,
yep.
and which is great because there's a correlation between repeated, redundant information being sold out there, and then syndication.
Yep.
So we go to websites constantly, and we see the same information over and over and over again, especially with franchise sites, whether it be carpet cleaning, whether it be insurance, whether it be whatever. It's the same information constantly.
Yep.
And then they wonder why it's not ranking. Well, it's all duplicate. Well, with syndication, all the newspapers are putting out their information. All the AP and digital resources, they're all sharing the same stuff, and yet they're still being ranked.
Yep.
So I think people have to know the difference between repeated information and syndicated information.
Well, and the average person doesn't have a clue.
No, and a lot of the PR sites that are out there, they'll charge money to get your press release out there, but do it. I mean, because you're going to get the exposure. It used to be that you could just write a press release sending out, via fax or email, and your local paper may pick it up. But I've noticed my local paper doesn't take any local press releases hardly anymore.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a function that's gone away. They print the news that they want to print, and not really the feel good stuff anymore.
Well, and that's part of their problem too. That's one of the reasons why they've lost their primary position as provider of news, because there's been an editorial slant put on it, and that's fine if you agree with it, but if you don't, you're going to go find alternate sources. Yeah. You're going to find sources that come from a perspective that you agree with, and I think that's the biggest disservice that the lamestream media, as I affectionately refer to them, they love to rail against Fox News when Fox is one channel, and all the other channels combined have a direct opposite editorial perspective, at least here in the U.S. And I find it humorous as an observer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
their bias is okay, but Fox's bias isn't. It's like, really?
Yeah, and I don't know how it is in Canada, Paul, but I'm sure you have the same situation that we do here in the United States with the media.
Well, yeah, for the most part. I mean, we've got three major networks here, right? And then we've got some of the smaller ones, but I hate to say it, a lot of our news still comes here from CNN.
Up there, it's called Canadian News Network.
Yeah.
Well,
Isn't it
you'd
CBN?
almost think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's what's really funny is, this is going back now, 12 years. My ex-wife and I took a trip to Phoenix to attend a Joe Polish boot camp, and my ex at that time did a lot of work with FedEx, and the majority of her customers were in the U.S. So she would always inundate us with CNNs just so that she could stay current on what's happening in the United States. Of course, CNN will inundate you with the same story told differently. I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
they got spinners there too, but giving you the exact same news, every hour on the hour, day in day out. And I said to her, when we're on this trip, you're not working for FedEx, no CNN. And then, of course, the excuse she used was, we've got these guys shooting people in D.C. I don't want to make sure there's no copycats here. So I was still inundated with CNN. Anyway, I do notice that just about everything does have its own slant to it, right? And although most journalists try to be unbiased, it's hard not to be, because your opinion, your thoughts, your feelings are going to come out when you write.
Absolutely.
If you didn't, you'd be very boring.
Yeah.
You'd be
Well, you
up there
can't
with Thomas Hardy.
straddle the fence. You're going to get knocked over one side or the other.
Well, exactly. And like I said, if you write like Thomas Hardy, that would have been great 125 years ago, but
Yeah.
he puts me to sleep. He put me to sleep in high school. He'll put me to sleep now. And what I have noticed, just kind of bring this back onto the right rabbit path here, is that everything has changed in the last 5 years in such a huge way.
Yep.
When I talk to an audience, now I will tell them that, in your hand here, I have more broadcasting power than most television stations had 10 years ago.
Yep.
And I can reach a much larger audience now.
And more computing power than they had on the first Apollo mission. Hell, a current calculator has more computing power. A current digital calculator. So.
Yeah. So, one of the things that, Rob and I discussed in the book, and we'll be discussing further on for those that take our coaching, is that the, I guess, SEO 3.0, if you want to call it that, or, my predictions for SEO for 2015, is that it's all going to be about content.
Yep.
I mean, it always has been, but more so now than ever before. And if you haven't got quality content, you're done. And
well, it's got to be relevant, timely, and contextual as well. So that's, people are going to want information. They don't want to see everything. They want to see information that they're interested in seeing. And that obviously varies from person to person. And the people that figure that out are going to get fabulously wealthy because of it.
Yeah, and and it's based on our interest, because honestly, there's things out there that I don't really ever want to see.
Exactly.
And I might go to Amazon because I was searching for something for my wife, and now all of a sudden I got these creeper ads that are showing up everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's nothing I can do, and it's like, wait a minute. I really don't want this. And it follows me around. It's like,
yeah,
no.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Creeper,
You're saying you don't like being retargeted, Rob.
I hate being retargeted, but that's where we're going, and it's the one day I was shopping for something for my wife, and that the whole week after that, it was like ad after ad after ad everywhere I went. Was this stupid product, and I'm like, that's it. I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah, it's crazy.
sign into her account next time.
Yeah.
Anyways, Rob, just to let you know, I'm just following the comments here on the Publish and Profit group, and we've got one more sale come in on the Kindle book,
Nice.
and we've got another sale on the physical book, and
Well, I see Jeff Cross left an Amazon review,
yep,
and
and,
that's getting there.
yep, and yeah, and we've got a total of 3 subscribers now, including myself on the list. So, because I just bought the physical book.
Maybe you can get an autographed copy.
Yeah, I know the author.
Yeah, I know the author. I might be able to get one anyway.
Exactly.
You know, that one in Pennsylvania can be a bit of a jerk at times, but I might be able to sweet talk him if I threw a 50 in the book to say sign this. But
Yeah, I'll sign it, send it to
I
you.
don't know. Did you order one yourself, or
Well, I just
Rob?
ordered. I ordered 50 of them from directly from the printer, but I'll have to order directly off of Amazon too.
Yeah, oh, so okay, beat you.
I know. I'm
That's
sorry.
basically what I wanted to find out. But yeah, no, I mean, this is looking really, really good. One of the things I really enjoyed um, about this whole process, Rob, is it really showed me. I mean, I tried writing this book myself this summer, and by working with you as a co-author, it you know, I had someone working with me to hold me accountable to make sure that I got
It froze up.
would pop up
Right.
and distract me, take advantage of my ADD and take me down this rabbit trail.
Hmm.
So that was one of the benefits, one of the things I really enjoyed about working with you on this project. The second thing I really enjoyed is, as you mentioned earlier, yeah, you got stuff that, you know, hey, I don't know yet.
Yeah.
And, particularly, the concept of going ape. I love that and plan on teaching that with my local SEO meetup group.
No, and that was one of the things that Greg Jameson hit on too right away. And it was a concept that's so simple to do, nobody's doing it, and for him that was the sticking point.
Yeah, that was a great. I mean, and it's little things like that that make it stand out.
Yeah.
It's a relatively simple concept that you explained it very well.
With my first 2 books, Social Media Debunked and then Shared 27 Ways to Boost Your Social Media Experience, Build Trust, and Attract Followers, they were nice, and I was told to keep writing another social media book, and I was halfway I halfway wrote the third conceptual social media book, and I thought, you know what, social media is changing so quickly that by the time this book is out, everything's changed again.
Yeah.
And I've been doing SEO for years, and Paul and I just got to talking, and I'm like, you know what, I got this idea for a book, but I've been dragging my feet, and we just kind of put things two and two together and said, let's just do it and see what happens. And we fast-tracked the book. We started out, we came up with an outline. This is what we were going to cover. We, tweaked it, and then we did a bunch of Google Hangouts, just like we're doing here. And then we transcribed the calls, and then we took all that information and rewrote it, to kind of take out some of the nuts and bolts where we're going back and forth like we are now, so that maybe in one chapter I have the focus, and then the next chapter he has the focus. And yeah, it did come off a little schizo, But
Well, no. As I said, my only confusion was I had to pay attention to who was speaking.
right,
I mean, and it wasn't that difficult. It just,
I found that
if I got distracted while I was reading it and I went back to it, I had
Yeah.
to, by writing style, try to figure out again.
yeah
So
it's easier when you have one person writing one chapter. And then you
sure,
can
sure.
just slap it together. But then people see that sometimes the writing style or the flow doesn't go well.
Yep.
Time to wake up.
That's my clock. Sorry, it's right behind my desk.
That's a big clock.
It is. It's about 6 feet tall.
Mm.
My father made it for me in 1992, so I've had it for a while.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that a what kind of wood?
Maple, I believe.
Oh, it's got probably a great story though.
He has made 4 or 5 of them. He has a wood shop, and it's one of his hobbies. So he's made all kinds of furniture, from dry sinks and end tables to grandfather clocks. So,
Nice.
and he designed it so that he could take it apart, and he brought it out here in the back seat of his car. He came out to Colorado to visit us when we were living there, probably in '92 when he made it. So, but it'll become a family heirloom. So.
Wow, nice.
I already had to replace the works in it. So. And the company, the company that built the works is no longer in business. They were up in Massachusetts, and not so. We ended up having to put some German works in it, and the original works had 4 different chimes. So I could choose Westminster and 3 other ones, and now I have one choice. So it is what it is now, and it cost a substantial amount of money to have the guts replaced. So.
Wow.
But
that's probably the biggest cost in one of those clocks. I know years ago, in my early days as a carpet cleaner, I actually worked with a guy who, well, he had a varied career prior to that. I think he still sucks rugs.
Really?
Yeah, well, he's a few years younger than I am, so, or he may have gone into duct cleaning. I'm not sure, but he used to work out in the oil patch, playing with dynamite.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he was telling me stories where he used to shake nitro off the sticks of dynamite and have it, go poof every now and again. Sounds like we got 2 more books sold, Rob.
Nice.
But he was also working as an apprentice with a watchmaker, particularly for grandfather clocks, and tuning them up and fixing them, because, when you move a clock like that after it's been set up, I'm sure the works have evolved in the last 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
But, at that time when he was working as the apprentice, if you move a clock and you end up messing up the timing on them, and you
Yep.
have someone coming in to reset your works, and that's basically what he trained to do.
Well, I have an atomic clock in my office, and so I have to reset this clock, at least every couple days. And I could get in there and twist there's an adjustable nut on the pendulum, so that you can speed it up or slow it down. It's just easier to change it every couple days than to get in there and play with that and try to figure out exactly, how to get it as close to accurate as you can. So. Well, gentlemen, what can I do to help you with this?
Well,
I mean,
I'm going to share.
Some tweets or.
Yeah, I'm going to share you a link that Paul gave me, and this is for our. Maybe Paul can share it because my computer is going wacko right now. If you want to share him the IC.
Yeah, I'll put that into the chat box on the side here.
Are you seeing the chat on the side, Michael?
No. Well, which I'm not familiar with Google. I see it now. Okay.
Okay. There's a there's an email there, but you want to be able to put the IC link. Let me get it.
Oh, that's the email. Hang on a second. Let me get the link.
I got it.
If you buy your book and forward the receipt to that address, Michael, you
Uh-huh.
get the free SEO audit from us.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's the link. It's called instantcustomer.com. It's got our little tracking codes there. If they can actually buy the book directly from that link, and if they do that today and submit their receipt back to us, they'll get a free SEO review that's worth about $300.
Okay. I saw that.
And the nice thing right now is that Google or Amazon is selling our book for about 10% cheaper than the marketed price. So they're getting a discount that way. But if they buy the book, they'll also get the Kindle version when it is released on the 10th.
Okay.
So it's kind of like 3 bonuses right there. So they're getting, just by paying, I guess it's the $22.96 plus tax or whatever it is for the U.S. They're going to get, an SEO review. They're going to get the Kindle. They'll go, and now they'll know, what's wrong with their site and how to correct it if they choose to do it themselves.
So, one of the questions I got, and this is actually from a member of the Publish and Profit Group. I believe his name is Navi Kleiman, and it's 4 a.m. in Australia, so he's missing this hangout, and had asked me to record this for him. But Rob, what do we do with an SEO audit? Why don't you cover that so that we can explain to everybody what exactly we're going to do for them?
Well, one of the things that I do, and I'm sure that we'll have it all completely in a form. Hey, Jerry just joined. Awesome. One of the things that I cover in an SEO audit is I look at their metacoding. What keywords are they using? How are they using them? Are they consistent throughout all their pages? Because I've noticed that some people, when they design a website, only code the first page. They don't code any of the other pages that are in the series of pages beyond that. So the only thing that's being seen is the main page. In a fully optimized website, all the pages should complement but compete with the main site so that they can squeeze out the competition on the Google ranks or the search engines. Is that you, Jerry? He must be having some problems. I see he's trying to join anyway. So.
Well, I'm going to throw something off to Paul Culligan here. When he talks about technology, it's something I'm going to attribute the quote to Paul. He says, "Always have a backup because technology hates you."
Yeah, no kidding. It's not your friend.
It's not your friend. And again, you're absolutely right there, Rob. I mean, most people will optimize maybe their homepage, but they rarely go deep. But some of the other mistakes that I see that are quite common is they have the same title, description, and keyword tags in all the pages of their website.
Mm-hmm.
Or they lack a lot of congruence. So these are some of the key things that we'd be targeting in on the SEO audit. But also other things like how well are they linking their pages together? What's the structure of their website? Are they making proper use of the H tags on each page? And in addition to how well are they optimizing off their site, as far as what type of links are coming in, and what is their, what will their overall SEO score be?
Mm-hmm.
And so once we're done all that, then we make the recommendations so that the person receiving the audit can do one of three things. They can go in and make the changes themselves if it's their website and they have access to it. If they have a web designer, take it to their web designer and say, this is what these guys recommend we do to kick up our site.
Mhm.
And of course, the easiest way is say, hey, Paul, Rob, go ahead and do this for me. And then we'd be more than happy to do that for them. So that, in a sense, is what we do with the SEO audit. And we lost Jerry.
Yeah, he was having some problems. I sent I sent him a chat through Facebook, so maybe he was having some technical problems. And Michael has left his chair.
No, yeah, Michael had to close his door because Michael's wife is vacuuming, and I didn't figure you guys needed to enjoy that.
Oh, come on now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's there's a lot of things that are changing, and a lot of the and I just today I got 2 emails, you know, even asking me about getting on first page of Google and backlinks, and these are all spam ads that people are just getting slammed with every day. And no wonder the industry is askew, and it's kind of like being back in the carpet cleaning industry, because you have good guys, and you have people that just destroy the marketing and destroy people's confidence. And it's just you know there's got to be a better way to do it. So we're hoping that this book instructs people on kind of the right ways to do it, and it's not always let's get on page one right away, even though I've been able to do that with some people. It's more of a be patient, grasshopper, because it'll happen. But to tell somebody, hey, it's going to happen in 6 to 9 months, that's just wrong, because too many things change in that period of time. You need to be able to get people up quickly, but consistently across the board.
Well, I think it's probably more important to get there and stay there than to get there once for a short period of time.
Right. And one of the things that I like to do is I'll take a lot of people's more popular terms, and I'll get them on page one of Google, and then with video and with press releases and with social proof, then we can get them ranking for everything else that they want. But now everything is reinforcing those other keywords and locking them in. Whereas, with Google AdWords, you're focused on, just a few keywords at a time, and once you stop paying AdWords, you're done. So it's a continuous process with SEO, proper SEO. You're getting more of the consistency that helps keep that ranking. So if you decide, hey, I'm going to skip my SEO guy for a couple months, not that we would recommend it, but you could still potentially be ranked without paying. You might drop down in the pages a little bit, but it's going to be a more powerful way than AdWords or pay-per-click. So, anything to add to that, Paul?
Well, here's the thing. When you do any kind of search marketing or paid advertising, once you've used your budget, you're done. You're off that page. You're no longer there. You're no longer viable to someone who is searching for you. So my goal has always been to create a post or a listing on the front page that's been sticky. And if you look at some of the work that I did 3 years ago, um, I still have uh, listings on the front page of Google for this particular. Well, he was my former employer. I ran his marketing. I was his marketing department, and I touch on it in the book. When I started working for Rick, I was able to find all the competitors on the first 2 pages of Google. Uh, Within 6 months, the first competitor showed up on page 7, and the second one on page 15. I'd like to say I owned it, but as my wife pointed out to me, we don't own the Google search result page as Google does. Uh, she took me quite literally there. Um, but even though that has been eroded considerably in the last 3 years, he still has page one ranking for a video I put up. He still has one ranking for his website. And he hasn't paid me for that now for about 2.5 years.
Hmm.
Now, a lot of us are oftentimes approached by someone in the network marketing industry saying, we're going to give you residual income. Well, in this case, we're not talking about residual income, but residual marketing. We were paid once. We got you on the front page of Google. You're still there. You're still benefiting from something I did 3 years ago that you paid for once, yet it's giving you traffic day in, day out, every single day since then. I mean, I can't think of a more intelligent marketing strategy that I can think of anywhere. Because everything else, when you go out and try to market your business, you pay for it. It gets released to uh, the media and to the market that you're targeting. And then if you want to continue to benefit from that, you have to pay to re-release it again and again and again. But when you optimize your website and you're on the front page of Google and you make yourself very sticky there, uh, then this is something that you either do once or pay someone to do once for you, and you could continue to reap the benefits. Now, with the risk of contradicting that and shooting myself in the foot, uh, what I like to encourage my clients, well, if we did that once, let's continue to do that. One listing's good, but 2, 3, 4, 5 listings is even better. And as we touch on in the book, it is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Yes, we can get you there quickly. My fastest time for page one listing is 90 minutes. And that was, again, for my former employer, for a lead generation website I created on a Friday afternoon. I launched it at 4:30. Did a few tweaks over the next half hour while I was working there. Went home, had supper, did a search on the main keyword at 6:30, and I was in the middle of page one. I was
Nice.
kind of blown away. Now, how did I do that? I like to, one of the first steps is I like to slap the search engines. And by that, I have a list of about 20 different websites that gets crawled quite quickly by Google. Now, this is not as relevant now as it was 3 years ago because it's very quick and easy to get a site indexed just by pinging it. But I would submit this new site to all these other various websites in the hopes that one of them would get crawled shortly after submitting it and get me indexed. And that was a very rapid way of indexing a site. I then fired off a bunch of press releases announcing the launch of this site. And by doing those two things, I got picked up, I got carried, I got there. And at the time too, I mean, I had a keyword-based title, which, at that time, 3 years ago, did help you rank. But the rules do change, and it doesn't have as much weight as it once does. But I will still tell someone, if you can put a keyword that you want to rank for in the title of your website, URL, get it done.
Yeah, is this Alicia? Hi, how are you?
That's listening.
Sorry, Jerry, I'm going to mute you. I am recording this, so I don't know if the other party would want to have that recorded. Yeah. Anyways, I guess that's a roundabout way of answering that question, Rob.
Yeah. But yeah, it's and what I've noticed is that videos, especially on YouTube, will rank faster than anything else. I had a customer that had 16 videos that I started working on, and I created the channel, uploaded his videos, retitled them, re-keyworded them, and within a few hours, there were 6 of them on page 1 of Google based on the key phrases and the words that we wanted. And you know, now he has 10 of them, 5 of them on page 1, 5 on page 2, and he's getting more traffic from his videos than from his website right now. So, you know, the YouTube is very powerful, and once Jerry gets off the phone, maybe he can explain to everybody a little bit about what he does, because I think that not only is he a lawyer in New York, a medical malpractice attorney, but he also owns a video lawyer studio where he teaches lawyers how to take advantage of video to promote their business. And I had featured Jerry in my social media book, but you know, his videos are very powerful, and they get most of his business, which is incredible.
Question for you. We just got a sale through Amazon.de.
Hello.
Everything that can
Michael
go
getting the
wrong.
call?
Yeah, we're taking everybody's call today.
Welcome, Greg.
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're doing good.
We're just having
I
fun
always
with
get
everybody.
rid of the end of a joke.
No, it's everybody's phone is ringing, and we're just like sitting here having a conversation with everybody. So, you know, Jerry's on the phone, Greg's on the phone, Michael's on the phone, and it's like, come on. So,
Anyways,
Greg,
we sold a book in Denmark.
sold a book in Denmark. Wow.
I believe it is. It's Amazon.de, so it's either Denmark or
All right, that's Germany.
is that Germany? Then we sold it in Germany.
Yeah.
It's going for 89 euros for the Kindle edition and 21.44 euros for our book.
Wow. You know, Greg had his book go #1. Oh, how long ago, Greg?
About a month ago, I think now.
I know that you went with a publisher, and I know there were some hiccups there, and we had looked at the same publisher, and you know, then we looked at other publishers, and we just decided that, you know, we're gonna just try this on our turn Jerry's mic back on, could you?
Is he back here?
He's back.
Yeah, the publishing world has definitely changed, though. So.
Yeah. Hey, Jerry, I want to thank you for being on the call. Could you share with us a little bit about your video studio and how you get people to, most of your customers are from the lawyer field? His mic's off.
So, yeah, you have to unmute yourself, Jerry. I'm trying to do this for you. And I can mute you, but I can't.
How about now? Any better?
There you go. Yeah.
Better? Okay. Hey guys, nice to see you guys. One of the things that I find to be very useful is creating educational messages that attract people who are searching for information. It's all education-based marketing. And if you can get into the minds of your ideal consumer and your ideal customer and understand where they are on their timeline, you can now create content that focuses on where they are, not what I want to create for them, but what they need to know. So wherever they are on that timeline scale of buying whatever service, product, or whatever it is that they're trying to help them solve their problem, if you start creating educational messages that start teaching them little bits of what they need to learn in order to help solve their problem, all of a sudden you are looked to as the go-to, the trusted resource. And that I find to be very useful.
Well, you have, you just hit, what, the 1,500 mark, or are you close to 1,600 now videos?
It's over 1,500 videos. Yeah,
And you do most of those around your house or while on vacation.
correct. That's right.
Yeah. So and you know most of those only take a few minutes to do.
Yeah, that's a remarkable thing. It's at this point it's so easy. I mean, look what we're doing now with Google Hangouts. We're providing some great information, and you do the same thing with a video. Spend 2 or 3 minutes teaching somebody something that they didn't know.
Right.
And again, all of a sudden, what are you doing? You have this great information. They're going to find it out anyway. Why not give it to them initially? Literally, you're indoctrinating them and showing them you have this great information. And then who do you think they're more likely to want to reach out to? You, who gives them great information, or someone who doesn't have that?
Right. Now, I interviewed you back in 2010 for an audio program. How have things changed since that time, whether it be web design or SEO or video? How has that affected what you're doing, and how do you kind of change with the times?
Perfect question, perfect timing, because last week YouTube just released some results saying that they now have 300 hours worth of video being uploaded every minute to their site. Okay, so literally you can have 18,000 hours worth of video a day going up, and you never can find it. So the real issue is, okay, if all this great content is going up, how do you get your videos noticed? How do you optimize your videos? How can you get your content seen? And now you're competing with tons of people, and if you don't understand what you guys are doing and talking about with optimizing your content, you will never, ever be found.
Mm-hmm. Now, most of your business is localized in the New York area, so most
Correct.
of your videos are going to stipulate that, you know, that demographic.
That's right.
You know? But the majority, you know, of people out there, they're doing silly videos, cats in pajamas, whatever, and so people, consumers, have to learn to wade through the fluff.
That's
So
right.
when they're typing in, for example, you, medical malpractice attorney, New York, you would hope that your videos are going to come up.
That's right. You have to. Not only do you have to hope for it, but you have to optimize it so that you get the geographic tags in there, so that you make it a compelling headline, and you give it a compelling description. And there's so many people who just don't understand that, which is something that I find remarkable that you and you know Paul are doing, which is something that is obvious to you guys, but not obvious to most people, because they think, hey, let me just throw something up online and Google will somehow make it found and searchable.
Right. Well,
Yeah,
you know,
if you have one piece of information, yeah, it'll get found. But when you're dealing with millions and millions of pieces of information, you've got to help them get your stuff found.
you know, we started out as carpet cleaners who, you know, eventually, you know, by frustration, learned this stuff on our own, and now we're out there teaching it. And you did the same thing in your law firm. You know, you learned how to do this. Now you're out there teaching other lawyers how to do it. And and you know, you're having fun doing it.
Yes.
You know.
By the way, this is one of the fun things about doing a Google Hangout. I can play around with these, you know, images and graphics that are hilarious just to add a little levity. It's so much fun.
So how did you transition yourself? You know, how do other lawyers? I mean, they like to see that trust factor because another lawyer is teaching them. But you know, from our standpoint, you know, carpet cleaners, same thing. You know, they trust other carpet cleaners. But you know, other people are out there like, did I just learn social media or SEO from a carpet cleaner? Well, yeah, because we're not carpet cleaners anymore. But you know, you have the authority behind you.
I think when you come from that background, the same profession, people look at you as being a fellow colleague, and they recognize, hey, you've been in the trenches, you know what you're doing, you have that commonality, and you form that bond, saying, hey, this guy, you know, Rob Anspach, he's done it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you develop a lot more trust being from that background rather than somebody coming in as an outside marketer and saying, hey, I'm an SEO guy. Yeah, okay, so what's different between you and the millions of other SEO people?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've been in the carpet business, and now let me share with you what we did.
Right.
I think you carry a lot more weight and a lot more credibility that way.
Well, one of the things that really struck me is I think not because of your videos, but you spend a lot of time reading. You spend a lot of time looking at other marketing. You spend a lot of time looking at your desks there. You have tons and tons of books. So you try to make yourself constantly improved for others. So that whether it be in your law firm or whether it be in your video marketing company, you're always out there improving what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And that I think that's what struck me as more important and more trustworthy than just saying, oh, he's just an attorney. No, because most attorneys I know are just like carpet cleaners. They have no idea how to market. So you're taking it one step further.
Yeah, I agree. You have to, I've always thought you've got to be a student as well as a teacher. And the more that I learn from my clients, from other attorneys, from other businesses, the more I can then try and apply it to what I'm trying to accomplish. And, for you guys doing SEO, I think that's critical because you take different pieces from different businesses. You don't just say, okay, how do I optimize only, carpet cleaners?
Right.
Well, if you did that, you'd be missing out a whole wealth of information.
Yeah.
So now you're taking SEO from other industries and now applying it to the people you know best, carpet cleaners.
Mm-hmm. Now, Michael, we're going to go back to your book, and I don't know if Paul and Jerry have gotten the opportunity to read it. It's called Amazon's Dirty Little Secrets, and what we're doing now is with our book being on Amazon and Kindle, we're trying to use some of those secrets to get the book ranked. Now, can you share more about that?
I can, except for the fact that you called me Michael instead of Greg.
I'm sorry, Greg. Michael was just here. And see, that's all Jerry's fault with his pirate hat.
There you go. Yeah, so, the premise behind the book is that Amazon is the most successful e-commerce company out there, and what I recommend that people do is follow the things that are working for other people. And the thing that Amazon does very well is to get other people to do a lot of their marketing for them, whether it be ratings and reviews, affiliate programs, press releases that get picked up, whatever. I actually had a friend post a comic on Facebook, on my timeline on Facebook just today about an Amazon scented candle. And it's like, that's absolutely perfect that somebody is promoting Amazon in this way. It might be a very subtle way, but people are out there promoting Amazon all the time, and you can take those same tactics and apply them to your business. It's a lot like what Jerry was saying with getting information out. You put lots of information out there via your videos and so forth, and if that's good information, people are going to share that, and that's really critical to kind of establishing yourself as being an expert in a particular area. But the very fact that they're sharing that information, that obviously improves your search engine rankings as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and your book is I think very well written, and there was a lot of thought behind it because I see a lot of books that it just looks like I've read the same one over and over again. I have a huge collection that lately my wife's been picking through and giving away, which I guess we need the room in the house. But I read a book the other day and it was like reading bits and pieces of books from the 80s and 90s and 2000s, and it's like there was really no original thought in the whole book. You had a lot of originality and shared some things that I didn't even know, which is, I think, makes the book more unique.
Yeah, I think that, uh, and that's kind of the same thing that I was saying when I was talking about your book, is that, a lot of the books that I've read on SEO and stuff too, same thing. It's like just repeating the same things over and over again. And you have that ape algorithm in your book, which I thought was great. You need and Jerry looks good there. You need to have that originality, and it's not hard to do. I mean, there's tons of information out there. It's a question of how you're going to consolidate that and present it in your own way so that you have something unique.
I think Jerry's ready to go to Bahamas.
And I think Roman's going to be sitting here laughing at Jerry's pictures.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be distracting. I was just having a little fun.
Looks like you have some sun. Did you just come back from Florida?
No, it's the lighting in here. I don't have any additional lights. It's just the office lights.
What do you have to add, Paul?
Well, I was going to see if I can put some more decoration on Jerry there, but outside of that, well, there we go. That would have been fitting here on the weekend. Anyways, Greg, actually just went in and bought your Kindle book, so I'm looking forward to reading it.
Awesome.
So I just heard so many great things about it. I said, hey, what the hell? I mean, it's not $1, it's $8.99, but on the Canadian side.
Yeah, and you know that you've seen, heard lots of great things about it. That's kind of the premise behind the book too. Is getting other people to talk about your book, or talk about anything that you're doing. Obviously, that helps with getting the word out there, and the more people that talk about things. I've got a quote in my book that says that people think that you get to be listed number one on, if you can get to be listed number one on Amazon or on Google, that you're going to be super popular. And the reality is it's exactly the opposite. If you're already popular, then you're going to be listed number one on Google. And people tend to have that backwards, and I think a lot of it goes back to this idea of putting lots of content out there, getting great information out there for people to share, and once you do that, then you're going to start finding that people are linking to your sites and so forth, and you're automatically going to start rising up in those search engine results.
Yeah, and it really, we're going to go back and we shared this with Michael, is that Paul and I quietly put this book on Amazon on Thursday. We did, tell people, we shared the cover a few times on social media, but we had no idea that it would, in 2 days' time, go to #1 bestseller. We had in our mind that we were going to do today as our official launch, and on Saturday afternoon, it was at number 10, and I said to Paul, I said, it's at number 10. And he's like, oh, we'll just wait till Wednesday. It's not going to go anywhere. And I'm like, okay. And then it was at number 6 about 2 hours later, and I'm like, we have a chance. And then it was at number 3, and I'm like starting to panic and getting anxious at the same time. I said, okay, well, what if it only stops at 3 and then just kind of cascades back down? We never got #1. And it's like by midnight, we got the, I look at it and it's like, the orange ribbon's there. It says #1 bestseller, and I'm like standing up screaming and waking up my kids, and, and I'm like, this is crazy, all over a book. But it was kind of cool because it validated that people actually wanted my product.
Yeah, and that's, I hope you got a screen capture.
I did. Yeah, we got a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And it was weird because we didn't use a publisher. We had looked at a bunch of them, but a lot of them wanted way too much money, and were going to delay the output of our book by months. And then they wanted, to split the money way down. So it's like, wait a minute, I'm paying you to give me $1 a book. That doesn't seem right.
Yeah, I think that the whole publishing model, as I said earlier, has changed, and I think that the single biggest problem that I see with publishers is not the fact that they're going to split the money with you and that it costs them money and all of that stuff. That's part of their business model, and I understand that.
Right.
The biggest problem that I see with traditional publishing is that delay of getting your content out there. We live in a real-time world. If your book is ready to go, publish it, get it out there. So I agree with you. That's actually one of the things that I had a little bit of an issue with my publisher is, getting the content out there. They wanted to originally not publish it until February, and I'm like, no, the book's been done for a year. This content's going to be out of date. And they're like, well, we can just update it. No, you can't just update it. You do just update it, but when the content's ready, things are time sensitive, and you get them out there.
With my share book, there's a lot of ideas and tips in there. That's great, but there's one that, although still works, with Facebook reconfiguring the whole layout, it's harder to find where to do it, and where we tell people that they should get reviews from people and have them put those reviews on their site. Well, now it's not so evident on the fan pages where to do that anymore. So, I used to say, tell them to leave reviews, screenshot it, and share it on your website or everywhere else. And it's buried now in La La Land, and people aren't taking advantage of those testimonials anymore, those reviews.
Yeah.
And so, your book can become outdated, and Paul and I we're already thinking about the sequel, because by the time that this book is out, let's just say in 12 months, maybe some of the things are a little out of date. We have to update them. Well, I'm not going to go back to the original book. I'm just going to come out with another one because it's just easier.
Yeah, exactly.
But now, you wrote your book. How long did it take you to write that?
Well, the actual writing of the book took about 2 months. The content that went behind it took about 20 years.
Wow.
Just because I've been living that space, and so it was a culmination of all of the things that I had learned, which is the way, just like your book, the information that you have in your book, you didn't just dream that up in a couple months' time. It took your career in SEO to get to that point. So,
well, what happens is, and I look back and even in high school, and we're going back, almost 30 years, is that I took computer programming, but they were in the early infancy days of DOS, and I was using a Radio Shack TSR-80 hernia machine that weighed, a couple hundred pounds, and but I think that with me, it was easier for me to learn. I knew the coding, I knew how that worked. I don't necessarily like coding, but I can see where a website is deficient because of the fact that I knew coding. And then, learning direct response marketing from the masters like Joe Polish and Joe Sugarman and Dan Kennedy, now I can couple all the marketing skills with the computer skills. And, one of my first businesses that I created after I got married in 1989 was owning a video photography business. And now video is huge. I was just, 20 years early. But now you couple all those things together, and, it goes into the book. Now, I didn't share all the experiences in there, but, it just makes me and I think a better SEO expert than somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. And to go back to your point about updating the book, when you come out with your sequel to the book, the fact is that people will buy a sequel to your book. They probably aren't going to buy the next version of your book.
Right.
It's the same title, they aren't going to do that. So this kind of continual flow of information, and your next book will have, more of your experiences, and it won't be probably just the experiences that happened between the publication of Optimize This and the next book. It'll be a culmination of all of your experiences to do it. So, how long it takes you to write that book. Yeah, for people that publish a lot of things, whether it be on video or blogs or whatever, writing a book is not that time consuming. The problem is once you get the content written, then you got to go in, you got to format it, you got to get it proofread, then you go, and in my case, going through a publisher, that adds a couple months to the whole process. So getting a book out there may take 6 months, but the actual writing time, you sit down and you write for an hour a day, and you can knock a book out pretty quick.
Right. Yeah, my share book, I think, was about a month of writing, month of editing, and then incorporating the pictures. But it laid the groundwork and the template that I used in this book. The 6x9 and the structure and the setup just made it so much easier to know how to design and build a book from the ground up, that it didn't take us as long. And when you look at what we did, we designed a template. So I mean, not a template, but we designed an outline of what we were going to talk about. We did Google Hangouts just like this, and then we had those Hangouts transcribed, and then we used the transcription to be part of the book. So when you look at the book, you're not going to see the back and forth banter that were, the conversation, but you're going to see a story that flows better.
Yeah.
So I think at start to finish, it took us maybe 2 months, if that.
No, we started, I think, around the 5th or the first week of October.
Yeah.
When we did our first hangout. I mean, I can check my video files, but
yeah. So
45, 50 days.
Yeah.
From concept to bestseller.
Yeah. So it doesn't take long to write a book if you have the content available, or the motivation or the accountability. Because there's a lot of people I know that they have this idea that they're going to write a book, but then they don't do it. So people like you and us, I'm not saying that we're going to change lives with our books, but we're helping educate someone and making ourselves the authority in what we do. And well, we hope that people consider us the authority, because evidently we don't know all the answers, but we combined know a lot more than we did going, into this book by ourselves.
Yeah, and you probably learned a few things yourself in writing the book. I know I did. Just you're sitting there putting your thoughts together, and you're like, oh, I need to, fill in some information on this particular point. And so you go out and you do some research in addition to your own experiences, and you learn some things. And once you have the book and you start presenting the material to people, you learn more things because you're getting their experiences and so forth too. So
right.
That whole business of establishing yourself as an authority obviously plays into the whole thing of what you talk about in your book too, with search engine optimization, because now you're the authority, and that authority gives you some credibility when you do show up in searches,
right?
Or people with word of mouth.
Yeah, but just like the beginning of any authority, you take on businesses or clients that maybe aren't ideal, but you do it to gain the experience. And then as you progress, you realize that those clients, although nice, just aren't paying the bills. So, as you start gaining the experience, you're able to take on better paying clients. And I think we all do that. You know, in any business.
So you have some of those too?
More than I can count. You know, that might be a book for another time.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know how you differentiate yourself from your competition, but having a book versus a business card makes that so much more enticing because you can only say so much in a business card, but you give someone a book and instantly they know that you're the authority.
Yep.
Yeah.
And people don't tend to throw away books, with the exception of your wife, maybe.
Yeah. Well.
And I mean, let's face it, Rob. We can now tell our clients that we wrote the book on this. So.
Yeah. It's it. I have a lot of books that I started buying when I created my first business in the '80s, and there was just some of them that are so outdated. They just need to go. Yeah.
Yeah. I still have some books from college that I have a hard time letting go of, but I know I need to.
But and I appreciate everybody buying our Kindle. I have a few books on my iPhone, which is my secondary Kindle. For me, I can't stand looking at a book on a Kindle. I need that physical paper. I need that, to me, it feels like an actual book. I can mark it up. I can, tweak the pages. I can put it down, come back to it, and for me, having a book is just always something of more enjoyment.
Well, it's like I said, people probably aren't going to throw away a physical book. Deleting a file on your Kindle is a pretty easy thing. Or, maybe you archive it and you never see it again. The book is kind of in front of you, and so that it is a good calling card.
Yeah. So, any words of wisdom that you might want to share?
Yeah, I was just about to say I'm running out of time here, but I think that the big thing to kind of leave with your customers that maybe are online are going to be viewing this video later, that it really is important that people produce a lot of content. That is the thing that really drives making you be the expert, whether you have a book or whether you're just trying to get your site listed online. If I work with a lot of e-commerce companies, and I frequently see people that will sit there and they'll put a product up, for example, and they'll put up one fairly small picture of a product, or maybe it's a huge picture because they just took it out of their digital camera, but they put a non-optimized image of their product out there with just a sentence about, here's a handbag, or here's, whatever this widget is, without giving all of the details to it. You have to provide that content so that people really understand what it is that particular product is all about. People go to Amazon, for example, because of the quality of content that's on there and the number of reviews on there. Get that information out there so that people can understand what the product is about, and when you do that, then the search engines understand what your product's about too, and that's how you start to get found, is by having that content. And so I think that it's really important that people understand that you can't just put a small picture or a huge picture out there with one line of text. You're the salesperson. You need to describe what that product is, just as if somebody walks into your store. So make sure that you get the content out there.
Right. Well, thank you, Greg, and I apologize for mixing your name up. It wasn't intentional.
Yeah, that's what I bought.
I know that.
If I bought his book, it would suck up for you. But no, I bought the book because I want to see what you have to offer there, Greg. I really enjoyed what you had to share today. And, why don't you, before you take off, why don't you leave us with a plug for your book, the title, best way to get it?
Okay, thanks. Well, the title is Amazon's Dirty Little Secrets, with a subtitle of How to Use the Power of Others to Market and Sell for You. And that word power is really important. That's the acronym I use in the book. And each letter stands for something. The P is plenty of traffic. O is offer something for free. W is win their trust. E is an engaging experience. And R is request and action. The book is available both in paperback and on Kindle at Amazon.com, or you can buy it on my website. You just go to jameson.com, and there's some links on there as to where you can get it.
Nice. Hey, thank you. And we'll let you get
thanks,
back to your day. See ya.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
You bet. All right, so we've got ourselves a launch going. We've got about 14, 15 books sold on the Publish and Profit page. So far, people have letting me know they've got the book. And so now that we've got about a 90-minute video up, I think we'll just kind of cut it off here. Hope the people that follow this video afterwards get great value out of it. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact Rob or myself at any time. If you go to optimizethis-thebook.com, all our contact information will be there. Thanks again. Any last words, Rob?
No, I appreciate everybody for coming by. I appreciate the Michael and Greg and Jerry, and for stopping by, even if it was just for a little bit. And I hope you guys enjoy the book. And if you have questions, optimizethis-thebook.com. You can find us. Thank you.